Let's be honest, the digital world our kids are growing up in can feel, well, a little overwhelming, maybe even a bit scary. So today, we're going to turn that anxiety into action. This is your practical guide to really understanding the risks and, more importantly, feeling empowered to keep your child safe online. Let's dive in.
I want to start with a number because it shows exactly why we need to have this conversation. According to the NSPCC, there's been an 82% rise in recorded online grooming crimes against children in just the last 5 years. I know, that's a really tough statistic to hear, but facing this reality is the very first step toward protecting our kids.
So here's how we're going to break this down today. First up, we'll get a handle on the real risks. Then, we'll talk about the single most powerful tool you have. And spoiler, it's conversation. After that, we'll build your practical, technical safety toolkit. We'll also make a plan for what to do when things go wrong. And finally, I'll show you exactly where to find expert help.
All right, Section 1, understanding the risks. Because before we can put up any defenses, we've got to know what we're actually up against.
The threats out there are kind of a mixed bag. You've got the really direct dangers, like online grooming and cyberbullying. But then there are the more subtle things, like the constant risk of exposure to harmful content, or the psychological pressures from things like AI beauty filters that can seriously warp their sense of reality.
So what is online grooming, really? It's a deeply deceptive process. An abuser doesn't just appear out of nowhere. They build a relationship. They gain trust, create an emotional connection, all with the specific goal of manipulating and exploiting a child. And this can happen anywhere kids hang out online, from social media to messaging apps to inside their favorite video games.
And then, of course, there's cyberbullying. You know, this quote from the NSPCC just hits the nail on the head. With a phone in their pocket, a child can't just leave the bully at the school gates anymore. That harassment follows them home, into their bedroom. It can feel absolutely inescapable.
We also have to talk about the newer threats. These AI-powered filters and social media algorithms, they are incredibly sophisticated. They can create and promote completely unrealistic body images and toxic expectations, and that can have a really serious negative impact on a child's self-esteem and their mental health.
Okay, so the risks are real, but your most powerful tool isn't some fancy app or a complicated filter. It's conversation. So let's move on to Section 2, because this is your first and your best line of defense.
This is the absolute key. You have to create a space where your child feels safe enough to tell you about anything they experience online, the good, the bad, the weird, without being afraid that you'll judge them, blame them, or just immediately take their phone away.
And here's what that actually looks like in practice. It's about shifting from getting mad to getting curious. So instead of a question like, "Why did you click on that?" which is full of blame, try, "How did you get to that page?" Instead of, "You shouldn't be talking to strangers," try, "Can you show me who you enjoy chatting with online?" It changes the whole dynamic. You stop being an enforcer and start being their ally.
Now, once you have that open dialogue going, you can back it up with some practical tools. So, let's get into the technical side of things, your safety toolkit.
Think of this in 3 simple layers. Layer 1, start with your home broadband. Setting up parental controls on your Wi-Fi router creates a safety net for every single device connected to it. Layer 2, secure their devices. Go into the settings on their smartphone, their tablet, their game console, and use the built-in controls to manage screen time and what apps they can access. And Layer 3, manage the app settings. Go directly into the apps and games they use and turn on the built-in safety and privacy features.
And here are a few non-negotiables to check off. Maybe even do it together. Turn location settings off. Make sure all their social media profiles are set to private. Review who can actually send them messages or friend requests. And for younger children, set up a safe search engine. These small steps can make a massive difference.
But here's the thing. Even with all the best preparation in the world, your child will probably still see something upsetting online. So the goal isn't perfect prevention. That's just not realistic. The goal is having a calm, clear plan for how you'll respond when it happens.
So just imagine that moment. Your child comes to you and they're clearly distressed by something they saw. What's your very first move? Because that initial reaction is absolutely critical.
Here is the 4-step response plan from the NSPCC. Number 1, just listen. Let them know they did the right thing by telling you. Number 2, reassure them. Tell them it is not their fault and that you're taking it seriously. Number 3, and this one can be tough, resist the urge to confront the abuser online. Your only priority is your child. And number 4, report it. Explain that you're going to report the content or the user to help keep other kids safe too.
And this brings us to our final and maybe most important point. In all of this, you are not expected to be an expert, and you are not alone. There's an entire network of support out there for you.
Okay, this slide is one to save. Maybe take a screenshot. The NSPCC helpline is for any adult who's worried about a child's safety. Childline is a confidential service your child can contact directly. If you need to report something serious, like online grooming, you go to CEOP, that's the police's Child Protection Command. And for those step-by-step guides on setting up parental controls, Internet Matters is an absolutely fantastic resource.
So let's end with this thought. Online safety isn't a one-time lecture. It's not a control panel you set up and then just forget about. It has to be an ongoing, evolving conversation. Because as the digital world changes every single day, our conversation has to evolve right along with it.